while we have a minute, a reminder, download the DK Horse app right now to get in on the Kentucky Derby action. All customers get a 100% deposit bonus up to $250 when they opt in with code HORSE only on the DK Horse app. And speaking of DraftKings, let's welcome him in. He is the DraftKings Sportsbook Director. Kind enough to join us right now. He's got the DraftKings shirt on with the sharp blazer as always. He's Johnny Avello. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm good. And Ben, thank you for mentioning everything about DK Horse. We're really excited. Been up about 5 weeks or so, and things are looking very positive. So,
of course.
And we're also looking forward to this week when people are going to take advantage of the deposit bonus.
That's always a nice part of it, too, with how much attention this gets in the betting market. So with the news of the scratch as well, Johnny, as you just take a look kind of at the top half of the field from the odds board, how do you imagine things will shake out just over the next 24, 48 hours here? Well,
they're certainly going to drop the odds on, every horse has to drop some. Some will be insignificant, some of the, higher price horses, but you can look at Forte. Maybe he's now going to go 5-2, even before any of the additional money's going to come in on him. So you can expect everybody to tick down at least one number and possibly two.
No doubt. And you think about where the horses are at the top. We'll get into all the favorites, but it always seems like every year there's that one horse that a lot of bettors start to gravitate towards. We always try to figure out who will that horse be, but I know Angel of Empire, he is a horse that you have your eye on. He's been somebody that has gotten some attention. Right now, the third favorite at about 8-1. What do you like about Angel of Empire, Johnny?
I like the progression is what I really like. But, you look at that last race in the Arkansas Derby, he wins by 4 going away. He's won his last 2. You go back and look at his 2-year-old line. Every race was a little better, cheaper races, but then, came into this year and looks just like a strong horse. He has the right trainer. He has the right jock, needs the right trip. Like we say in the Derby, you need to get a good start. And you need to not be in trouble early. If you're in trouble early, then your race is over. I've lost many derbies right at the beginning. It's like
yeah,
I haven't ripped up the ticket, but pretty much should have.
Yeah, I'm Angel of Empire is my horse as well. I'm a big Brad Cox fan. I want Brad Cox to win his first Kentucky Derby. I know Mandolin got put up ahead of Medina Spirit, but I think Angel of Empire is going to actually cross the finish line first. So I'm very high on Cox's horse as well.
Yeah, 4 wins and 6 starts, including, as Johnny just talked about, the Arkansas Derby as well coming in. A horse that is also getting some attention. It's a horse I like coming in, Derma Sotogake, the Japanese horse. Now, there's the big talking point as well, Johnny. You think about trends and how no horse who won the UAE Derby coming over to Churchill Downs has ever won the Kentucky Derby, 0 for 18 all time. Could that potentially change with a Japanese horse whose numbers have been lightning fast?
You can't handicap on things like a horse has never won coming from, or here's the other one for you, Ben. No horse has ever won out of the 17. So he has both of those things going against him, but you can't handicap that way. If the horse is right, you think he's good enough. He's the best Japanese horse that's ever come over running a Derby. So you have to give him a chance. I mean, I look at his numbers. Last 2 races were very good. Now, the other Japanese horse, Continuar, I don't like him at all. I mean, I think he's just too far to run, and those 2 ran against each other at the end of last year. Very close race, but at this point, one's going one way and one's going the other. So I would give Sotogake a chance to win.
Remember this, too. He's gone farther than any of the other horses in the starting gate because he's won at 1 mile and 3/16, which is a distance that none of these other 3-year-olds have actually raced at. And a lot of the energy behind the Japanese horses being successful is the success they've had in Breeders' Cup. The last couple of years, they've come over to Breeders' Cup and really pulled some upsets. So, Sotogake, I don't know what kind of trip he's going to get. He was on the lead in the UAE Derby, but the Brisnet numbers didn't come back lightning fast. So I'm still trying to determine from the 17 posts what kind of trip can he work out if he doesn't decide to go to the lead.
And somebody who has shown the endurance in the past, that's why I like him kind of counteracting the fact he is in post-17, counteracting the trend. I'm glad you brought that up, Johnny, just because a trend.
It's a fun name to say. Sotogake.
Yeah.
Sotogake.
Well, remember at one point, too, no 2-year-old had ever won the race that didn't race as a 2-year-old. I mean, it's always something.
Oh, there is always something.
Right.
We'll see if this is year that another one of those trends gets snapped. Johnny, as we do some housekeeping as well here, for the new horse bettors, we mentioned the DK Horse app people will be able to bet at and have the sign-up bonuses here for this week. It's always a reminder for people coming in new, and we're adding new sports bettors into the market every single year. But for the race itself, the futures market versus the pari-mutuels, what do the new bettors have to know as far as that goes, which is always an interesting distinction that people might not be aware of.
Yeah, the future market is something that is very close to my heart, which I'd like to bring that back to DraftKings. And we're going to need permission to do so. So we right now have pari-mutuel racing only. We do not have the future. Now, there was a future at Churchill Downs, pari-mutuel future bet. But the guys in town here, there's a couple places that still have the future bets up, and I like to play into it. And I know there's a lot of people around the country like to play into it. It's always been a great marketing tool for me. So hopefully can bring that back at some point. But it's pari-mutuel only for us right now.
Pari-mutuel
A great thing about the DK Horse app also, though, is that you can stream the races live. So a lot of times on Derby Day, Oaks Day, there's a lot of time in between races. If you want to jump to another track and keep the bets flowing, you can watch that race as well while you wait on the next start at Churchill Downs.
That at least helps for your viewing pleasure when we get to
I have
Saturday.
ADD. I have to have something
I
going
know,
on.
Sean, you're a multitasker. We know that. Johnny, before we let you go, as far as some of these top horses, we talked about the ones you like. Who are horses you might be fading that you're not necessarily a fan of heading in?
Well, before I tell you who I'm fading, there's some other horses that I'm also interested in. I need to use. Tapit Trice has just done nothing wrong. And so he's a horse that I'm going to need to use to go further in exotics and maybe even use him on top in some. Skinner is a horse that could be a big surprise.
Interesting.
So Skinner's a horse, when I look at his numbers, they're really good leading up to this race. So he's someone I'll be using also. And, Forte, a lot of people like to throw out the favorite. You can't do that. I mean, Forte's been as consistent as any horse in this race. So I need to use him too.
We'll get the horses you don't like. I'll mention them after the break. Big thanks though to Johnny Avello for joining us.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.